Welcome to Comadres y Comics. Comadres y Comics is a podcast hosted by 3 Latina women.
We highlight the Latinx presence in the comic book industry as creators, characters, and fans.
Join us as we talk chisme, comics, fandom, and beer.
Hello, everybody. We are Comadres y Comics, and we are here straight from WonderCon 2025 with the amazing Omar Morales, creator, writer,
Raiders fan,
Raider fan, amazing storyteller extraordinaire of one of the most recently read and reviewed books that we had on our podcast, Major Thomás. So, Omar, thank you so much for meeting us here today. We have been talking about it and fangirling about it and just very much waiting and anticipating this moment because you know we got the questions.
Oh yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. So, I was answering them as I was watching your YouTube review. I was like, okay, yes, his name is because of assimilation. That's why it's Thom, but still with the accent mark because the mom wanted something unique and special to him that nobody else has.
See, that was my question.
I knew it.
It also helps me though, as a creator, have like a unique title.
I'm out.
that is not generic, right? Without the accent mark, it could just get lost in all the other stuff, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and actually, absolutely, with reading the story and getting all of the assimilation and fish out of water and just all of the things that we talked about on the podcast, it makes perfect sense, your explanation of the name, which he is referring to. I said on the podcast, no, it's Thomás with a T, not TH. So, sir, you had a very interesting question that you wanted to know.
Yes, I wanted to know how did you get that foreword by the astronaut on your comic introduction?
So, Jose M. Hernandez, as you know, is a famous astronaut, and he applied to NASA like 11 times before he made it in. I think I emailed him like 11 times
Before you made it
over the years.
Okay.
And I think what finally got him to agree was I had the finished book, and I was like, look, here it is. And he came back with 3 words, "This is great!" Exclamation point. So from then on, it was pretty smooth in terms of, getting him to do it. He did it like in a day, really fast. But
oh, wow.
The thing is, him and my dad are from the same hometown, La Piedad, Michoacan. And so that was like another connection. And he does some charity work with a cousin of mine out in the East Bay. And so I think it was like meant to be, right? It was written in the stars that he and I would connect some way, somehow, someday.
Get it? In the stars.
Like, I honestly thought that this comic book was like an homage to his story.
It's an homage to his story, but it's an homage to your favorite David Bowie and my favorite Peter Schilling, whose record company actually allowed me to use like 10 words.
That was my next question. Okay, tell us about that.
Okay, so that one didn't take 11 emails. That one took maybe 2 or 3 emails. But I explained to them very clearly what it was. I showed them the page where the lyrics would show up, and I said, I will give you the proper credit exactly how you want in the bottom, just so everybody knows this is done with permission. And so they were really cool about it. They didn't charge me anything, and like,
Oh, wow.
yeah, I think they just recognized my passion for the subject matter and for the song, and as a fan they were just like, yeah, go for it. So I'm so grateful.
That was my other question. How long was your journey to create this comic book? Because it just seems like I've been hearing about it for like years.
Yeah, it has been like years. I first got inspired like in 2009. I went to a rock concert, and one of the warm-up acts was Shiny Toy Guns, and they did a cover of Peter Schilling's Major Tom, and they did such a phenomenal emotional job of conveying the story of this astronaut who's lost and he's dying to get back, he's yearning to get back, and it just got into my soul, and I just kind of started from there. And over the years I did like some concept art, some pinups, some covers, and I had an outline, but I didn't really have the time to dedicate to it because I was working on other projects. And then COVID came, and now I had time. I was like, cool, I'm sitting here in my house for a couple years. So I wrote the script, and then I hired Sergio and Raul, and they started doing the pages, and so here we are. So it's a labor of love. These projects take me 5 years, sometimes 10 years, because I'm juggling a lot of stuff.
Right.
You know, I'm juggling full-time job, family, interviews with the Comadres. You know, my schedule is, you know, it's pretty busy. So like, there's other stuff that I've been working on too that, you know, I haven't talked about yet. That's in the wings, but those have been, you know, marinating for a couple years, and so. Yeah, that's just how it goes in comics.
Do you have any questions, Jen?
Yes. So we were able to recognize a lot of the like sci-fi homages, the song references and stuff like that. Were there any that we missed that you were like, oh, they didn't see this?
Well, there's some deep cuts in there that like it's gonna be hard to find. But one of them is Alf.
Oh, okay.
He's actually in there in a background screen.
Are you serious?
Yeah, when Davis, the gray alien, first shows up on the scene, is like, I'm here to help you guys.
Yeah.
There's a monitor in the back of his spaceship that has Alf broadcasting on his screen. So that's one of my favorite ones that not a lot of people find.
Yeah.
But another one of my absolute favorites that I did for my brother is there's a Halloween scene where one of the kids is dressed like a gorilla. And he says, "Wait a minute, gorillas." That's one of my brother's favorite sayings because he got it from WWF because Jesse Ventura used to broadcast matches with Gorilla Monsoon. So Gorilla would always defend the good guys and Jesse would always defend the bad guys. And whenever Jesse didn't like something that Gorilla was saying, he would say, "Wait a minute, Gorilla." And so that's just like a family thing that I put in there that like, you know,
cool.
nobody's going to get but like my immediate family. But, you know, so yeah, let me think. Did you guys see the smoking man from the X-Files in there?
No, I did not. Oh!
I mean, he's not super obvious, but there's a scene where Lisa's in the desert and she goes to this compound and there's a guy waiting for her.
Yes.
Yeah, there's like a shadowy guy, he's smoking. So
So cool.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, that's another one of my favorites.
We love those deep cuts. They make it. You've scattered it with all the things that you love.
Yes, obviously, you know, there's some Star Wars, there's some one line of Star Trek. I'm not really a Star Trek fan, but like I had to throw it in. I had to do it, yeah. Obviously, my Raiders are represented by the motorcycle gang of robots who have the leather vests. But if you notice, they all have numbers, and those are like numbers of famous Raiders players.
Oh.
Yeah, and they're all in silver and black too. So. No, I had a lot of fun dropping those little nuggets throughout the story. And I know you want more Lisa, and I agree.
Yes, I loved her. She was really great.
Yeah, I love her too. She's probably my favorite character to write. So if I get a chance to do more stories, there's going to be a lot more Lisa. So you'll be happy.
It's gonna happen, and we are gonna be there to support it and to make it happen and to make sure that everybody reads it. And that leads us into my most pressing question, and I'm sure that anybody who reads this book is going to have: what about Volume 2?
I've got some pages done. I have a general outline of what I want to do. I just haven't had the time to really get deep into it and do the work. Now that the first one's released, I'll probably have some time to start fleshing it out. And it's probably just going to sit there, and I'll have to wait and see how book 1 does. And if there's enough demand for it and people want it, then I will be ready. Not with art per se, but, you know, a script that I can start working with and getting my cherished mentors and consultants to kind of help me shape it a little bit like they did with Volume 1. And there's some definite ideas that I have for Volume 2 to take it up a notch. Maybe introduce some new types of tropes, if you will, that are not necessarily sci-fi. They could be maybe a little bit horror, or they could be a little bit fantasy. I don't know.
Hey, aliens exist for a reason.
They do. That's another for real thing that, like, my dad was big into believing in alien life, and he bought that book Communion back in the 80s, and he had it on his nightstand, and it freaked me out because that alien is just like expressionless. He's got this tiny mouth and the eyes is just staring at you. And so because of him, I'm deep into that. Like, I spend hours watching YouTube of theories about alien life and spaceships and all that stuff. So.
Wow. Well, speaking about sci-fi tropes, Jen was actually wanting to know a little bit about what some of your inspirations were behind making this book that is so heavily ingrained in sci-fi.
The music first, right? And then there's Jose's real life story. And then there's this belief that I just outlined for you guys about alien life and what's out there. And then there's also this like AI element with the robots, right? Because that's becoming like a real thing in daily. Oh yes, Al3, everybody's favorite robot monkey. So it's just a big giant mashup, really, of all these things, right? I grew up in the 80s and 90s with Marvel and Star Wars and the Nintendo Entertainment System, and watching like Voltron and Robotech. So all this pop culture stuff is just in there. And so I wanted to make something that I would have loved as a kid, especially as a young brown boy, you know, growing up in the East Bay, that shows our culture reflected in pop culture, but also that you can strive for big things and shoot for the stars, because there's evidence of real people in NASA, right? There's a lady from Colombia. She came here as a housekeeper, put herself through college at University of Florida, I think, and she became a flight director. So in the story, there's a flight director character, and she's Latina, Director Rosales. And so that she was inspired by this real life person. I just read a story about a lady who was born in Mexico. She came here, she was working at McDonald's. She went into space in the last few years. So I want to let people know, I'm not just making up BS. This is real people who have fought against all the odds, right? Obviously Jose coming from a farm background and are doing big things in the exploration of space. You know, it's not just all Elon Musk, right? Right.
Well, I have a question. How did you get on Comixology? Like, what was that process?
It's kind of a weird story, but like I first pitched it to them maybe like a little over a year ago, and they liked it, but the guy who was in charge of submissions, like he left like 2 weeks later, and he took another job at another comics company. So I was left stranded, like floating in space, like without a tether, like not knowing who should I follow up with, like who's even there anymore. And then Amazon, you know, made some changes to the staff at Comixology and kind of absorbed it into Amazon, so it's not even its own app anymore. Everything's through Amazon now. So fast forward like a year later, I hired a marketing company because I was getting ready to do it as a Kickstarter, and I submitted it to them, and they were like, hey, this is really good. Have you thought about Comixology Originals? I said, well, yeah, I was talking to this guy, but he's gone now. They're like, okay, we'll pull some favors and see if we can get somebody over there to look at it. And it just went from there. Wow. Yeah, so it was kind of almost an accidental thing that happened. I'm very grateful that it happened. Comixology, Amazon's a great place to be. The people at Superfan Promotions are doing a wonderful job with all the PR and marketing, and I'm here on a panel today because of them. And so, yeah, it's maybe it was another thing that was written in the stars and it was meant to be. I don't know.
Well, it looks like you've been really working hard on this for many years, and you're very persistent. I like that. It's so cool. Email after email, just getting like no word back from the astronaut after 11 emails or 12 emails, and like Comixology, you're floating in space, but you're still hanging in there, and you're here now, and we read your book and we love it, and absolutely need a volume 2.
Yes, and so can you just remind our listeners when your book is going to be coming out and how they can find it and read it for themselves?
Okay, so the book's already out. It came out like 2 or 3 days ago. I can't even keep track anymore. You can buy it on Amazon. You can just search Major Thomás, Omar Morales. It'll be the first thing that pops up. It's a Comixology original, so it's exclusive to Amazon and Comixology. It's digital only. The number one question I get from everybody is print, print, print. I want a printed book. That's a possibility. It's not guaranteed, but down the road, it could be that Amazon could partner with a publisher to buy the print rights and then put it into stores. But for now, it's just digital. It's only $6.99, okay? So what I've been telling everybody is if I was selling this off the back of my truck, I'd be charging $20-$25, right? Yeah. For like a hardcover, nice, solid edition.
I mean, it would be 100% worth it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you. So $6.99, you can't go wrong. It's about 120 pages. And then it's got a lot of extra bonus material, right? There's covers and pinups from other artists. There's an educator's guide in the back.
Yes.
So librarians, teachers, or even parents that just want their kids to learn something. There's a guide that has activities and questions and things that kids can do about reflecting on what they learned. I have a deluxe edition that I'm hoping to release at some point that has a reflection on Latinx futurism from Professor Latinx. I don't know if you guys know him.
Yes, Frederick.
Yeah, Frederick Luis Aldama from University of Texas, Hook 'em Horns. He wrote a very nice piece, about 3 pages, about Latinx futurism and how it's important to see ourselves in this future. Let me see, what else? I think that's about it in terms of extras and bonus things. But yeah, I really appreciate anybody who's out there that wants to give the book a chance. It seems to have gotten off to a good start. Like, I looked at the page and it said like #1 new release or top new releases for comics and graphic novels. A subsection of a subsection of a subsection on Amazon. But still, I will take it.
#1 on the Comadres y Comics recommendation list. Well, thank you so much. Did you guys have any other questions? No. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us today. We know that you are an up-and-coming star with a very schedule that's very packed today, and you're only here for one day, so making this time for us means a lot. And honestly, your book touched each and every one of us very, very deeply in different ways, and we really cannot wait for #2. Hopefully, we don't have to wait another 10 years.
Well, if it happens, yes, hopefully not.
And then just one last thing, where can people find you online?
My website's probably the best place, theforcemedia.com. It has all my stuff on it. It's got links to all my social media. I use the same handle everywhere, so it's at omorales81. You were like...
Yeah, why do I keep saying it wrong? But I had been drinking.
Okay, well now it makes sense.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you so much, Comadres. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. Thank you so much for your words. I really was getting teary-eyed watching what you guys had to say about it, because I was like, wow, they really get it. And that's always a fear as a writer, is like, I'm going to put this thing out there, but like, are people going to get it? And so far, it looks like people are getting it.
Nice.
And thanks to you guys who are pushing it out in our community to let people know it's there. I made it for our community, but honestly, anybody who likes science fiction, like you were saying, it's a very classic kind of timeless science fiction story. Everybody's welcome. Come on down.
Yes.
I actually have a little bit to say. Thank you so much for trusting us and sending us I guess it's a press copy of it. Thank you so much for trusting us with that.
Of course. You guys were very top of my list of people that I wanted to get the book in front of, and a priority for me today to be here with you guys.
Thank you so much. That means a lot.
I'm ready for my conchas. Conchas and chocomil.
And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hello, everybody. We are here again at WonderCon 2025, and we are saying hello to one of our favorite Latinx creators, Henry Barajas. And he is not only one of our favorite Latinx creators, but he's also here at the National Cartoonist Society booth because he is the freaking president of the society.
LA chapter chair. LA chapter chair, not of the society. I have to make that clear. One day we might have hopes and dreams.
In my heart, he's president of everything.
Yes.
So, Henry, tell us, what are you here today with? I see that you have books on your table. Can you tell us what you have?
Yeah, obviously here to promote the National Cartoonist Society. Anyone who draws this guy right here, Eddie, the silent member of the Comadres y Comics. So just here to promote the association, but also here at WonderCon to promote the books I write. Currently, Green Hornet is out. Listeners are very familiar with La Voz de Mayo, wrote a Batman, Ninja Turtles, but this is what's currently coming out right now on a monthly schedule with Dynamite. Co-writing with Alex Segura, Federico Sorosa. Really excited with this series.
Well, can you tell us a little bit about the story? You said it's a 5-issue limited run. So what is the story? Give us a little sneak peek.
Yeah, so Green Hornet, Miss Fury, for the first time, worked together. and their mentor and one of the elder statesman superheroes goes missing, and it's coming at the same time as heroes are being found dead. So they're worried that they need to find their mentor before it's too late. So they're going through the mean streets of 1960s Chicago. Big fan of Green Hornet, really excited to meld together all the incarnations. I was a big fan of the 1960s series that was coinciding with the Batman 1966 series that starred Bruce Lee as Kato, which really did a lot of favors for Asian American actors, especially at that time. So it was awesome to take the radio plays, the comics, and the show and the movie and bring it all together and try to make something a little bit more cohesive, like the Batman the Animated Series, like trying to find a way to bring all these like cool concepts and like technology to bring it into what I would say like something that kind of speaks to all of Green Hornet, but also Miss Fury, who was the first female superhero to be created, written, and drawn by a woman, and she was coming out during World War I. So there's a lot of like anti-Nazi imagery and stories. So bringing that into this 2025 series was just kind of like a no-brainer and something that was just like speaking to us at the time and kind of speaking to us as like, you know, storytellers and having a love and an affinity for the Golden Age stuff.
Awesome. Well, in full honor of Chisme de la Semana segment, do you have any chisme that you can share with us?
Sure, yeah. So there was this podcast who did a review of this comic I did called Dolores Huerta, the plights and struggles of the migrant farm workers. And there was this one particular person, I'm just kidding. They're the only people that even cared to even talk about it. So I just want to, yeah, you could probably hear her laughing. But everyone was so kind, so thank you. Yeah, that's really the only thing I can talk about right now. So, yeah.
You recently had a successful Kickstarter. Can you tell us more about that book? And when it becomes available, will people be able to purchase it?
Yes. So I kickstarted Death to Pachuco. It's a 1940s Chicano noir about the Zoot Suit riots that happened. Very successful Kickstarter that I am co-creating with Rachel Merrill, who is doing Gil Thorp, which is why I'm here at the National Cartoon Society. We're calling it Cold Harbor right now for the Severance fans. We're at 97%. We're almost to the stretch of the end, and the goal is to do a small print run for Toronto Comics Arts Fest. And hopefully a publisher will put a ring on it and we'll have a mass market distribution. But at the time, currently it will only be available through myself and Rachel. But yeah, we're really excited. Yeah, thank you for the support.
Yeah. Well, we look forward to that book, and we always look forward to anything that you do.
I look forward to your review.
Well, thank you for taking time with us, and we will see you when you have your next show. Yes. Bye. Hello, everybody, again. We are still here at WonderCon 2025, and we are also still at the National Cartoonist Society booth, and we happened to see this amazing creator here, actually standing next to Henry Barajas, with her book, Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur. She's the illustrator, and we want to talk to her and ask her a few questions. So, hi, Asia. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So my eye immediately was drawn to Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur. I love Lunella. She is such a little spitfire. She's just one of my favorite Marvel characters. And everybody, don't forget, she is the smartest character in the Marvel universe, and it's not because she has superpowers. That's just who she is. Her superpower, as you remember, she can actually switch bodies with devil dinosaurs. So tell us, Asia, how did you come about being the illustrator of Wreck and Roll?
Well, it's funny. I was honestly just posting a bunch on Instagram right out of college. And this is a book done with Scholastics and Marvel. So Scholastics reached out to me and they were like, hey, you want to work on this book? And I was like, yes, I do. And that's kind of the story. I tested for it and I got the job.
That is amazing. So my question is, were you a fan of Lunella and Moon Girl's story before you were approached?
So I'll be honest, I did not know about Lunella when I was approached. I've said before in like I did a podcast recently that I'm very much like a child of animation, and so not so much a child of comics. It's funny because I do comics now. So I didn't really know about the Lunella character, but it's funny when I got the job, I told my best friend, she was like, "Oh my gosh, Moon Girl!" I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "What? Tell me." So I started doing research into it, but then I immediately became a fan. I was so impressed. I mean, the art was just beautiful, the storytelling, and her as a character. I mean, it feels like the first time I related to a character as much. And I really felt blessed when I like got to learn about her. I was like, oh, this is such a perfect story. I was like really happy.
Oh, I love that story. So can you tell us a little bit about, was your education around illustration?
Yes. So I went to University of the Arts in Philadelphia, and my major was illustration. So my major had a big focus on just doing entertainment arts in general or like children's books. And like holiday cards, and it was just kind of an all-rounded illustration major. But I was very lucky in that my school was very focused and open to the idea that artists got to be whatever type of artist that they wanted. And I was always the big like comic and animation girl in my school, and we kind of had pockets like that, like groups of students who are like the comic people and the animation people. So they really like helped us like hone our skills for whatever we wanted to do.
Okay, that's awesome. So as a Black creator, a Black illustrator, drawing a Black character, can you tell me a little bit about how you put in your kind of like little cultural Easter eggs when you are designing your work?
Yeah. Well, I was lucky enough that I got to design some of the characters for this book in particular. And so if you haven't read it, there is 6 new characters in this book. And one of the main characters is another Black girl. So I really got to have fun with playing into like the fashion. And then like the hair was like a really fun thing I got to work on. And then even for Lunella, there was small things. Like there was a scene where she was laying down in bed, but she didn't have a bonnet on. I was like, we gotta fix that.
I love that. Yes, it's people from the same culture who notice those little things. Yes, absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was like grateful that like I put it in and they were like perfect, and I was like great. It just worked out. So it was great to be able to add that to her.
Yes, I love that. So now that you have your hand in the comic world, are there any other projects that are coming up for you?
Yes, so I'm glad that I get to say that I just finished My Little Pony Tournament of Mysteries. So that'll be coming out, I believe, is April. And then I did issue number 2 of Adventure Time Best of Buds.
Oh,
Yes.
That's a newly re-released Adventure Time comic book, so that's awesome, yes.
Yeah, so I'm on issue number 2, and I think that's coming out in May. So those should be coming out pretty soon.
And are you local to the LA area?
So I am currently in Anaheim, but I plan to be moving back to Philadelphia actually this year. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. So where can our listeners and watchers find you on the internet?
So the best place to find me is on Instagram. That is probably the only social media place I live really. So you can find me at Asia_Simone 405. So that's ASIA_SIMONE 405.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking your time to speak with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye. Hello, everybody. We are still here at WonderCon 2025, and we are in the small press area. And we just happen to be in the aisle where Quinto Comics is. And Sarah struck up a conversation, and we just learned some really interesting information about this company. So, do you mind repeating what you told us about Quinto?
Sure. Hi, we're the first all-Asian, all-female comic book company. I started the company with my daughter and co-founder, so we're a mother-daughter duo as well. We wanted to bring Filipino and Asian stories to the comic industry, and we didn't see a whole lot of that a few years ago, so we decided we were going to bring these stories to life. Filipino mythology is very, very interesting, dynamic, and vibrant, so please join us as we follow Marcel Reyes, our lead, in our story.
Yes, actually, an interesting story. My husband tabled across from you at a at a different convention, I'm not sure what, and he brought these books home to me and said, hey, this would be perfect for your podcast, but there's 3 of us, and so we haven't had a chance to get through them because one of our podcast co-hosts lives in San Jose, and so we haven't had a chance to send her one or to read it, so we were just thinking, hey, let's just buy more copies so that we can read the book. So do you want to tell us a little bit about how you put together your team for this book?
Sure. So when we came out to LA about 8 or so years ago, we did realize that we didn't see a whole lot of Asian stories out there. So we decided, you know what, let's write our own and bring this to the forefront, to entertainment, to Hollywood, to the comic industry. So we got together and we found a Phil M. writer, and then we started brainstorming on what types of stories would be interesting. Waverly here is instrumental in helping me, find the writers, the artists, and our artists are global, all over the world. They're also Asian. We have got a Chinese American in Texas, and we've got Filipino artists in the Philippines, in the U.S., and in Canada. So we're a global team, and we don't sleep because of the time zones.
Well, I definitely know a lot of people who work with globally that say the same thing. So I'm sorry, what was your name? Waverly, yes, Waverly. That's a beautiful name. How is it working with your mom in the comic industry?
It's a lot of fun. I feel like we are learning something new every day. Being a first-time entrepreneur and starting a business with her has been really instrumental in my growth as a creative, as a businesswoman, and it's really nice that we get to tackle challenges head-on together. We're constantly on FaceTime 24/7. Whether it's story development, planning for the different conventions, coming up with new fun merch for our readers. We get to touch on a little bit of something every single day, so keeps the creative juices flowing, I think.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. So can you actually tell us what has the response been from Asian women?
Oh, wow. So I'm older, right? And the older Asian women come by the booth all the time and say, wow, I wish I had seen this or had this growing up. We just didn't have it. Back in the day we had Wonder Woman. That was kind of like the girl hero. But nowadays we wanted to inspire the younger crowd. And so, Waverly growing up in South Florida, she didn't see a lot of Filipinos
and I think
there
it's
either.
Still happening within our generation. We just had a woman come by who said that her son was 19 years old and was looking for more ways to connect with his Filipino culture and identity, being half Filipino, and looking for other ways just outside of maybe food or family, which are the things that we're most known for, knowing about our culture and heritage just right off the bat. But there's so many other vibrant things to explore within our culture, whether you want to take a trip to the homeland, which is actually what this book is about. It's a Balikbayan story about a Philam who goes back to the Philippines to discover more about her culture and roots and past family history, I'll say. I won't spoil too much. And so we just think it's really important. I think it's a ongoing process that everyone goes through growing up, is to want to learn about more of their culture and to find the things that inspire them.
Right, absolutely. Well, are there any projects coming out in the future that you would like to talk about?
Actually, so we just launched our Kickstarter for Volume 2. So Volume 2 is actually issues 1 through 5.
Volume 1.
Oh, sorry. Volume 1 is issues 1 through 5. Volume 2 is issues 6 through 10. We have a Kickstarter going on. So if folks want to continue the story that they fell in love with in Volume 1, pick up Volume 2 on Kickstarter and follow along with us.
Yes.
So that's our main project right now. We've got another series in development. So that is up and coming.
Awesome. Well, where can our listeners and watchers actually find more information about this Kickstarter, about Volume 1, and about any future projects?
So on our website, www.cuentocomics.com, And then on the Kickstarter, you can just go to the Kickstarter website and type in The Mask of Halia, Volume 2, and it'll pop up. You can find us on socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Cuento Comics.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, and I am really looking forward. Oh, we have a question from the Peanut Gallery.
Yes, my question is, what made you choose comic book format? Were you, I know you mentioned Wonder Woman. Were you a fan of Wonder Woman comic books?
Yeah, so growing up in the 1960s, there wasn't a whole lot. Yes. I turned 60 this year. Wow. My favorite thing to do with my mom was to go visit the library. And back in the day, she didn't have a car, she didn't drive, so we took the bus. And at every bus stop, there was a newsstand. And the newsstands all had comic books. So we would pick up a comic book as my treat to going on the bus, and so that's how I was introduced to comics. And it's such a visual medium, and we wanted to tell our stories in a very visual way, and comics was the best type of medium to express our stories and to bring our vibrant mythology to life.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Yes, and again, like I said, I can't wait to read your book, and again, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Comadres y Comics. Comadres y Comics. Comadres y Comics.